I wanted to ask you guys about one specific player, and then I want to get into a couple of Bills over-unders to end this show. James Cook is a second round pick, and I did a podcast not too long ago where I asked Bills fans for their like bold season predictions and takes. And that would go out pretty much how you expected it. But what I was kind of blown away by was how many people are projecting this guy, fans, I should say, at least anyway, are projecting this kid to come in as a rookie and have 450, 500 receiving yards or more. As you cover him going into his rookie year right now and his role in this offense, what you think he may be, do you think he's going to have a pretty big role right away? Because I mean, I looked it up. I remember I looked up the stats. I think there was like one, maybe two running backs in the whole NFL who had 500 receiving yards last year. And one of them was Cordero Patterson, who was barely even a running back at this point. Do you feel like the expectations for him for being a second round guy in this offense are really high right now from fans?
I do, because I think that they used a premium asset on him. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody in the front office, and I was just saying like, hey, is there anybody that you guys get that you didn't think you'd have a chance at or anything like that? And they were ecstatic that James Cook was available to them, because they basically said he is something that we didn't already have on this roster. And that's another piece that puts us hopefully over the edge to get to where we're trying to go. Devin Singletary is going to be the quote starter on this team, but James Cook is going to be on the field pretty much every time it's third down. And he's not just going to be a pass catching option. They'll hand it to him. He's not like your in between the tackles guy because of his size, but he's got some burst and he's got a ton of position flexibility, which is something that they obviously crave. And when you look back to the Bills at the end of last season, they were the best when they were utilizing the running backs either in the running game or in the passing game. Devin Singletary caught way more passes out in the flat, and Burrito was even involved for a little bit. Like, that's when the Bills' offense was the most explosive. So I think he is going to kind of step into that role, but he's going to do it better than anybody they've had these last couple of years. And I think that they're going to be really excited about what he can bring to this team.
What do you think, Sal?
Yeah, it's super interesting for me because I think that Matt and I actually discussed this on the latest podcast, which is dropping. This is the state of the running back room. And one of the things that I said there that I'll say here too is I think drafting James Cook is not something that hurts Devin Singletary, and in fact, almost helps him, because they didn't draft someone to kind of take carries away from him. They drafted someone to be more of a complement to him, to take third downs and catching the ball out of the backfield. So I think we kind of have a clear line of what the running back room looks like, with Devin Singletary as the first and second down back, if you will, kind of the main running back, and maybe James Cook getting a few carries here or there, and then he comes in on third down. Let's remember, this team went out and tried to get J.D. McKissic. They thought they had J.D. McKissic. They agreed to a deal. He went back to Washington. They've been searching for this guy. The only part of this where I'll say let's temper expectations is, how many touches are there for him, really? Do you want him to touch the ball over Stephon Diggs? Do you want him to touch the ball over Gabriel Davis? Do you want him to touch the ball over Dawson Knox? If all things are equal, I think Bills fans would rather have Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis and Dawson Knox catching the ball than James Cook. You'd probably rather have Devin Singletary running the ball than James Cook, although I think you could make a case for James Cook on that. So how many touches are there really for him in a game that maybe he's not going to get to those expectations and high expectations production-wise that some people want him to have?